Hello and welcome to a very special episode. Today we're going to take a look at my character, which I haven't talked about as much in the Let's Play videos, and we're going to focus on that in this episode because we are at level 100. It's been quite a journey to get up here. It's taken about 70 hours to get here, and so I want to talk a little bit about my character, the weapons I'm using, the armor, and what I could have done differently if I started over again, because I really just went on the fly here. For character building, I didn't use a guide at all. I really only used a guide just to get around the levels and if I needed it. Okay, let's talk about the attribute points first, and I've gone into the level up screen so it's a little bit easier to highlight each one as I'm talking about. So my attribute points, I mostly focused on vigor, endurance, strength and dexterity because I knew at the start of the game I wanted to make a melee build. In terms of melee build, I didn't really know what I would put it on. It was just whatever I felt like I needed at the time. So I ended up starting with putting a lot of points in vigor because I felt like I was dying a lot, and then I realized I also needed endurance because I would need to wear stronger armor, and so endurance is the one that governs that. So you can see here it's highlighting the max equipped load. Now it says 85.4, but if you want to do reasonably quick rolls with a lot of invincibility frames, you only want to roll you only want to wear a medium load, and a medium load is about 70% of this max equip load. If you go over 70%, it becomes a heavy load, and then your rolls are a lot slower, and I believe there are less invincibility frames with a heavy load, so you get hit a little bit more easily. So I didn't want that, so I had to boost the endurance up as much as I could as well. But also this governs the stamina as well, so you want to well, if you have a longer stamina bar, you can block a little bit more easier without getting staggered, because once your health bar depletes and you get hit, then you're going to get staggered. Now in terms of strength, I really only brought this up to 34 because I wanted to use the Axe of Godric. So there was a period of time where I put a lot of points into strength to get that up, because I wanted to use that weapon instead of the current weapon that I'm using, which is the Bloodhound's Fang. But actually I feel like I don't actually need to put that many points into that, especially if you're not going to use that weapon at all. So I'm using the Bloodhound's Fang, which I believe only requires 20 strength and 18 dexterity. And if you only need that, then there's not that much reason to put it in strength. You're much better off, if you want to increase your attack power, to put that into dexterity. Because dexterity, if you put 1 point into dexterity, your attack power goes up by about 2 to 3 points every single time. Whereas strength, sometimes it'll increase by 1 point, sometimes it'll increase by 2 points. So not as much as if you put into dexterity. So what I'm saying here is that, as you can see, I put in about 30 points for each of the categories: vigor, endurance, strength and dexterity. So that's 4 categories, but if I put in points into just 3 categories, I might have an extra 5 to 10 points in each category. So my dexterity could have been, like, say 44, and my strength could have been 24, for example, and my attack power would be much more. Okay, so let's talk about the other stats. If we go to Bloodhound's Fang, and you can see my right armament there is 448, and I wanted to use the Axe of Godric as well. Now my Bloodhound's Fang is at a +6 level, so it's pretty high. This attribute scaling is C for strength and C for dexterity. If I use the Axe of Godric, my right armament power only goes down to 302, and that's much lower than the 448 that I had with Bloodhound's Fang. Now this is only a +3, so if this was a +6, I believe the strength and dexterity scaling might improve a little bit, but I'm not sure if it would be able to get up to 448 for the right armament power. And the other thing is that if I'm using the Axe of Godric, it does feel a lot slower than the Bloodhound's Fang. So I'll just show you guys what it looks like to swing this. Okay, so let's talk about the armor now, and I'm mostly trying to tank my way through the game, and I think I'm just trying to use the strongest armor that I can without going over this medium load. So right now, medium load, it's about 70% of the full load. So if I go to 60, it's already over to heavy load. So there are a couple of things that I want to wear further on. Like for example, I'm currently using the Mausoleum Greaves right now. And that is okay, it gives me 7.4 for the damage negation. But I really want to be wearing the Banished Knight Greaves. But right now I can't really wear it because that's going to bring me into the heavy load. And as you can see, if you do this is the medium roll, so it's much quicker than if I were to actually use the Banished Knight Greaves. Whoops. So you get a much slower roll, and you don't roll as far either, so it's easier to get attacked, especially with the boss fights where this isn't really going to avoid anything in a boss fight, and you're easier to just tank everything with a shield. Now in terms of the talismans, I didn't go and try to find every single talisman everywhere using a guide. It's really whatever I stumbled across. So I think a couple of interesting things here. The Radagon Saw Seal, that is a really interesting one because as you can see there, it adds +5 to a lot of these attributes, which is really great. However, it doesn't, that's going to reduce my damage. So, oh sorry, my damage negation. So let me bring that up. So as you can see here, if I wear Radagon Saw Seal, previously my second number was 32, but now it drops down to 21. So it reduces the damage negation for the amount of for the armor that you're wearing, and that is a big drop off, about 30%, and you can really tell in a boss fight. So I guess in that case you really have to weigh up, is it really worth it for the increased attributes but you get more damage taken? And then of course the other talisman I'm wearing is the Gold Scarab, which increases the amount of runes that you find by 1.2 times. So I'm just wearing that pretty much everywhere unless I need some other type of talisman. Like for example, if there's a lot of Scarlet Rot, I might wear the Immunizing Horn Charm, which increases my immunity to 365. Or I might wear the Mottled Necklace, which also increases my immunity, robustness, and focus. So going forward, I think I will focus on just 3 of these categories, maybe even 2 of these categories until the end of the game. So I'll probably be focusing on dexterity and endurance rather than strength and vigor as well. And I might put in some points to vigor sometimes, but I will also be getting Sacred Tears anyway, which increases the amount of health that you get every time you use a potion. So I think that's going to help with my vigor anyways. So I'll mostly try to put points on dexterity and endurance to increase the attack power and also my defense. Okay, so that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please leave a like and also to subscribe, and we'll have a lot more Elden Ring videos coming along, so I'll see you guys in the next one.